Okay. So what we're going to do is start with a couple of reader questions that we solicited on both of our blogs. There's one for each of you. So I will start with you, Maggie. And this is coming from Michelle. Since Forever is the final book in the trilogy, do you find yourself sad that you won't be writing about those characters anymore and that the trilogy is at a close?
Well, when I write about my characters, when I write a story, it's to satisfy a certain character arc in my head that I want to finish. So we got there with Forever. I'm happy with where it's gone. So, no, I mean, I'll miss them, but I'm happy that the story ended where it did.
Okay. The next question is for Libba. This is from April. She asked, you've explored many different genres in your writing. Is there a specific genre you enjoy most?
Oh, wow. No, there's really not, because it's really sort of like, some days I wake up and I say, I would like to wear a fun patterned dress. And then another day I wake up and say, I would like to wear something kind of mod with cowboy boots. And then another day I wake up and say, I'm seeing a fedora, but with overalls, which is kind of wrong. But anyway, my weird fashion sense aside, I like to wear lots of different things. I like to play with lots of different genres. I like to read everything. So it really is, to me, it kind of seems like whatever story it is I'm trying to tell, that kind of dictates the format that it takes. And so there's really not a favorite. I don't choose favorites. I don't. My heart is big enough to hold love for all the genres. Thank you for asking.
Okay, the next question we have is for Meg, and this is from Julie. And she wants to know, you write for different age groups depending on the series. Do you have a favorite age group to write for, adult versus YA? And is it because one group might be easier to write for than the other?
Actually, I don't have a favorite. Like Libba, I really love all my children the same. And although that's not really true, most mothers do have a favorite. I just won't tell you. But no, seriously, I do really love all of writing for genres of all age groups. It's all equally challenging and it's all equally fun. I love being able, though, to switch it up. I think if I had to write for just one age group all the time, I might get very bored. It would be like eating the same food all the time, and I don't think anyone would want to do that. So I really
Go.
well, yeah, that actually is a good point. But personally, I love everybody the same, all ages. I will say that in adult books, you get to swear. Without getting letters from anybody. When if you tried to do that maybe in books for younger readers, they might be a little bit surprised. So every once in a while, throwing in a good curse word in an adult book can be fun if it's like a bad guy. But when you get to write for younger readers, you get to have a lot of fun with prom, which you don't get to do in adult books. So that kind of makes that a little fun. Very true.
I guess that would be a sad adult book if it was
If there was prom in an adult book, I would question what was happening in that book.
Okay, now these are the questions that we had for our regular interview. So we'll start off. We have a couple for everybody and then a couple for each of you. So our first everybody question is, what current YA books do you wish were around when you were teens?
Libba Bray.
And just to as a side note, the first time we heard this question asked, 3 out of the 4 authors said Libba's books.
I don't think we're allowed to include each other.
Yeah.
No. Answer? Okay.
No. Gosh, there's so many. A book that I wish had been around when I was a teenager that I would have absolutely devoured is Natalie Standiford's How to Say Goodbye in Robot. I love that book so much, and it would have been the book that I would have carried with me everywhere and transferred from locker to backpack and underlined passages and folded down pages and gotten my peanut butter smears on and then begged to have another copy of, that would have been pretty and sat on my shelf. I love that book.
That was a really nice story until peanut butter.
Sometimes you need a snack for later with your books, like, oh my god, I love this part so much.
Yeah. I love a well-loved book.
That you can also lick.
That's been dropped in the bathtub a lot.
I don't know who these people are.
I think that's what's so great about YA right now is you have there are so many great books and there's so many great choices. I don't know if I could pick any one particular book because I know when I was a teenager there was Judy Blume and there was a lot of great sci-fi, it seems like, that was kind of geared towards teens, but there weren't so many, but now there's just so much. I don't know if I could pick any one particular because there's just so many awesome choices.
I think I would pick two because I loved fantasy growing up, and especially homicidal fairies. So Bones of Fairy is the book I would have carried around, though I did not lick any of my books.
Still time.
Also, I don't like peanut butter, so I don't know. Bones of Fairy, I would have loved that one. Also, Katura and Lord Death, because who doesn't want to have, Lord Death? See? Lord Death.
I like to lick the bottom of my shoes when I just buy them because they're brand new, and you'll never get to lick the bottom of your shoe again. Always lick the bottom of your shoe after you just bought it because you'll never get another chance. Thank you. Next question.
Can you breathe?
I don't know if I can top that one.
I can't believe I have to be the voice of sanity. I mean,
That is a little scary.
it is. I mean, the levels that we have dipped
Yes.
to.
I am when you don't do that. Let everyone do that.
But I
I'm
will.
gonna do it now.
Thank you. I know. See, once it's said, you can't not do it. You'd be like, oh my God. I'll never get another chance. I've got to do it.
Okay, next question.
Okay, yes, moving on.
The next question that we have for everybody, is there kind of a main theme or, I guess, message that span across your books that you kind of hope that readers take away from? I know it's kind of a vague question, but
I
in
don't think
general.
it's big, and yeah, there definitely is in my books. Most of my readers are girls, although I do have some boys, but they generally write to me and say, can you please not have so many pink covers because I'm getting beat up on the bus. But, and I have to say that my newest book is very brown and gold, so I haven't gotten any letters about that, abandoned. But there definitely is a message that, and I hate saying message because as a kid I never wanted to read any book that had a message, but there really is kind of an underlying theme that if you have kind of a dream or if you feel like you're an outsider or that you are not alone and that if you cling to what you believe in and believe in yourself, that ultimately you will kind of achieve it. Because that's something that when I was a teenager, I had a lot of problems believing that there was anybody like me or that, because I was really picked on and I wasn't very good in school and my parents were both really great in school. So they were like, what is going on? Are you even our kid? They weren't really sure. So I always felt like when I started writing my books that I wanted to make sure that people got the message that, hey, you know what? If you're feeling really bad about yourself, just hold on because there is somebody out there who went through the same thing. And guess what? I did eventually make it, although there was a lot of rejection along the way. And so, yeah, I do try to put that in all my books, but I kind of consider it like medicine, and then there's a lot of sugar. It's like a spoonful of medicine that helps, a spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. So I don't want to be too much of a message, but it's definitely in there. I don't know if anyone's noticed.
I'm like Meg. I don't like the idea of message, but I do notice that all of my books seem to kind of revolve back around the same kind of ideas without me necessarily thinking about putting that in there. And so it's always about choosing your own identity instead of letting other people put you into a box. And on a greater level, just overarching plot level, it's always about kind of a sense of wonder and the idea that there's more to the world than what you can just see. That's why I put magic in.
I was tempting to say that my books are tasty, but it's about licking shoes and pages. I loved what both of you said. I mean, I think that was amazing and dead on, that from the fact that you're really not looking to give a message, you're trying to write a story and trying to find the heart of that story. And I would concur that it's very much about the search for identity and about trying to figure out who you are, which can be very, very tough and which is a lifelong process. And about trying, I think also about trying to connect, trying to find those points of connection, which can be really hard in the world. There's so many things that can make us disconnect And I think that those moments of magic and wonder, which can be otherworldly, or they can be like a clasped hand, or clasped hands are just a moment of honesty between two people. I'm always kind of trying to find those moments of connection. And I too have a great sense of wonder about the world. I've kind of never gotten rid of that. So,
Do you want to know a moment of honesty right now?
is there lipstick on my teeth?
I've always wanted to be part of a polite conversation where someone says, I would concur, and now it's fulfilled.
It's true.
So thank you.
Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon?
Just uncomfortable.
I learned that from TV.
Now we have some individual questions. We'll start out with Maggie. We were looking over you guys' blogs to find ideas, and we saw that there's a Mary Sisters of Fate anthology book coming out. Can you give us a little insight into what you and Tessa and Brianna have in store for us?
Ooh, okay, so this is a really fun project because it started out as an idea of just putting short stories together of ours, but we thought instead, since we're also really close friends and writing critique partners, they read everything that I write before my editors even see it. We thought it would be awesome to have a book that talks about our writing process, where the ideas come from, what the critique process looks like. It just shows, it's got our chats between each other when we're critiquing each other. It's got little scribbles of paper that we've written on where we first came up with ideas. It's got photographs, and so it's this kind of giant scrapbook of what it's like to be a writer from conception to finished novel. So I'm very excited about it.
We're excited too.
Cool. I know that. That's awesome.
Okay, and then I have a question for Libba. I was actually reading the interview that you did with yourself, which I love, by the way.
It is fantastic.
I loved it. But I was reading where you thought of beauty queens as kind of the opposite of Lord of the Flies. And so, do you think that's kind of true in the sense that, the girls are kind of on this island, they can really be who they are? Do you kind of believe that to be true in general?
Well, I certainly believe it to be true in the context of this book, but I do think that it takes a certain amount of learning how to tune out the messages that we're bombarded with all the time, whether that is the sort of insidious nature of the beauty industry constantly trying to sell us products, some of which I happily buy, by the way, because this lipstick, you pry out of my cold dead hands. Or sort of the political and cultural restraints that are placed on us often. So I think that there is something, and again, that's about finding identity. I think that sometimes you have to be able to kind of step off that treadmill in order to be able to stand still and go, well, wait a minute, who am I really? What's really important to me? What do I want? What's right for me? So in a sense, yes, we all have to be able to find that island for ourselves where we can be alone and find ourselves.
I would concur.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Okay, we got our last question is for Meg. We'll go on a little bit of a serious note. My blog partner, she lives in Texas, so she understands the effects of the whole oil spill and everything. And one of the major, kind of side points of Abandoned was the environmental nature of the island that they moved to. Was that something that was always part of the story? Did the recent events kind of impact that more?
Well, the book Abandoned is also, a lot of it is kind of based on the myth of Persephone, and so even though it's a modern retelling of what would happen if there was a girl who died and maybe went to the underworld and fell in love with a lord of the dead. But in the real myth of Persephone, Persephone's father is Zeus, who is the most powerful god of all the gods. And then her mother is Demeter, who's the goddess of pretty much nature. And when I was thinking about what it would be like with Pierce's dad, well, who would he be? And I thought, well, he would maybe be a huge executive, maybe at Halliburton. And that obviously played a part in the BP oil spill. And so that is who Pierce's father is. We don't say necessarily that he is an executive at Halliburton, but he is an executive at a place that may have something to do with that. So. That was always going to be planned, that he had something to do with a company like that, because he's a very, very powerful man. And then, since it is set on an island where it's very, very much, the environment plays a huge part on any island. The eco landscape is something that the people all make their livings from. There's fishermen in Key West, and the tourism industry was hugely affected by the oil spill and still continues to be. We don't know what's going to happen down the line, especially with the coral reef. So I thought that was a great way to kind of pull in how we think about nature and what it would be like if your dad maybe was responsible for killing that, and what if your mom was somebody who worked as an environmentalist, as Pierce's mom does, and it kind of played in perfectly with the myth. So, and also I really wanted to kind of make a statement about the fact that that's going to continue to affect people on that island for a long time. It's not something that's just going to go away, even though it's not in the news anymore.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time, and we look forward upstairs.
Thank you so much.